Hi, everyone. So this is an interesting question, fundamental to what we're talking about. Hi, Claire. Can you talk about trust and decision making? How do I make decisions in work, and how do I know who to trust in relationships if there's no doer? Since following the three principles, I've based my actions on following my intuition and my wisdom, and it has helped to some extent. But now that this idea of no doer is thrown into the mix, I'm not sure how to know what to trust and how to decide on things. So interesting, isn't it? Because it does change everything. And I think this idea of I need to find my wisdom, I need to trust my intuition, has truth in it, but the way it's sort of held as a concept of me, there's a me here, decision maker, doer, chooser, separate entity that needs to access wisdom, intuition, knowledge, in order to make the right decision, because that right decision is going to secure something, and we'll look at what that thing is. All of that is a total confusion. That's chaos, because none of that's true. There is no separate chooser, doer, decider that is distant and apart from the intelligence of life. No. The whole basis of me being a separate entity within this body mind, that's our confusion. So let's have a look at trust. Trust, what we can know, because there isn't an independent chooser, what we can trust 100% is that every single organism, which is some form of body mind, animated by life, animated by intelligence, 6 billion humans or 7 billion humans, infinite others of animals and insects. What we can trust is that body mind will act in a way that makes sense given its program. 100% of the time. That's the trust. That's what can be relied on. Same here, same for us, same out there for all other organisms. So that sort of helps clear things up a bit, really, because really, like, that's as far as it can go. We don't know. We can't say I trust you, or I trust him or her to behave in a certain way in this situation in the future, because there's no knowing. There's no knowing of what elements will be live in that programming, in that moment, of what understanding of reality will be playing out, what beliefs will be factoring in. So trying to secure ourselves, this sense of a independent, separate entity, through trusting other people, is really precarious. It's very unreliable. Instead, it makes sense to, wherever possible, convert the sort of that underlying trust, that underlying those expectations, that sort of hidden reliance, into agreements, visible, articulated, voiced, written, often in some cases, contractual in others, legal where necessary, agreements that have weight to them, have staying power to them, have implications built in if the agreement is broken. That's and it might sound mercenary or unromantic or unfriendly, but that's the basis of a clear, straightforward system of interactions between organisms. And so rather than on a very straightforward basis, rather than trusting that someone is going to turn up on time, we can say, I need you to be there at this time, because if you're not, that has these implications for me. And do you agree to that? And if they say yes and they don't turn up on time, that has a knock-on effect for that's information, isn't it? It's information back into the system that will change the nature of the conversation for the next time, or might even be that we don't rely on that person again because the agreement was broken. So that's one thing. Trust is one thing. Trust only makes sense when it's trust that the person will do what makes sense for their programming, because the programming creates the actions. That in terms of our own decision making, what's interesting, I think, here is that intuition and wisdom are not separate from me, that me, Claire, separate entity, has to try to access. It's that there is a life intelligence running a body mind via the distortions of what the mind is believing, what the programming is that's running, what the foundational understanding of self and other, of reality, how that's distorting and subconsciously influencing all experience, all perception, all actions, all behavior, all words. That's what's going on. There isn't a separate doer. There's just a program running. And so when there's this separate me that is trying to make the right decision, it's really interesting to think, why is a right decision needed? What's it going to do, this right decision? Because inevitably this me that's separate from the decision, from intelligence, intuition, is trying to secure itself. It's trying to secure its future. It's trying to control situations, control experiences, ensure that certain emotions don't have to get felt. So it's trying to do the impossible. It's trying to make the right decision in order to do the impossible, which is to secure the experience of being separate. And instead, I think what's really so much more valuable to do is two things. First of all, investigate what's true. Spend our lives investigating who that me is, what that separate self me really is, where behavior is really coming from, what creates the experience of reality. Let's do that. Awesome. And then secondly, let's structure life as much as possible so that what is healthy for the body gets done, and what is not healthy for the body stops. And that seems to me a really solid basis for life lived. Explore what's true, because what that does is create sanity for the mind. It creates a deeper and deeper alignment between the ongoing lived experience of being and the truth of being. So from that space, all decisions are changing. all reality is changing. It's all happening from that falling away of what's not true, and the falling away of these protective devices that are trying to secure separation, basically. So that's the sanity of the mind, continuous for the rest of our lives, and all discomfort is an invitation to that. And then health of the body, which is also health of the mind, isn't it? Because the subconscious mind really is in the body. Do whatever we can body-wise. There's zero reason not to. And we know so much about what's healthy for the human body. So, and then there's no need to worry about decisions, trusting people. It becomes much simpler than that now, because there's nothing to secure, nothing to no imaginary world to try and fix in place. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Bye.